Yes, I'd like to welcome you back to another episode of the Grill the Podcast Show, baby. And you know what that sound means. Boom, boom, boom. Yes, I've been strolling and trolling through the world of media and madness. I told you that's my new tagline. I have to remind myself every time I think about it, or every time I get ready to say it, because I'll be so into it. But yeah, hey, I'm going to jump right off into this thing. I got some interesting stuff coming up, some stuff that was inspired by the Twisted Teachers. I will put that link to that podcast show in there, but I saw the article, but hey, we're going to get into that later. Anyway, let me start off my first little segment. See how I'm getting professional? The first segment up for today. You anti-American, you anti-vaxxers, anti-Joe Biden, whatever you want to call yourself. Lo and behold, that infrastructure bill that I've seen a lot of other podcast shows come down on and say, oh, he doing this, oh, he shouldn't be doing that, oh, this government gonna fall apart. There was a COVID relief funding in there. So you disrespectful Go Brandoners are about to get $1,400 minimal, or up to however your thing go, but you're about to get another stimulus check. Yay, hooray, we get more money. That's all y'all want from the government is more money. So yeah, he's actually, I didn't know that was in there. I hadn't even heard anything about it. I'm pretty sure you're like, he's lying. Go Google it. Check it out for yourself. Actually, go read the bill. Yeah, good luck with that. But yeah, so another $1,400 is on the way for a lot of households that need it, and it's a COVID relief because some people are still out of work. So we know what it's for. It is to help those households, and it could come within days or weeks. I guess it'll depend on your situation. So don't go blow this money on no more crypto money, because that is stupid. And they will be tracking you. Don't go try to funnel this money across nothing. They are tracking everything. You should know that by now. But basically, I mean, of course, you're gonna spend your money on food, games, and something dumb. Now, go ahead and do yourself a favor. See, I knew that something was strange because they weren't dogging Joe Biden as much as they usually do. And of course, I found out why. Because money is coming your way, and they didn't want to look all stupid and unappreciative like the mainstream media. Some of them do. Some of the journalists just coming down on this guy. So yeah, you could thank Mama Pelosi and Papa Joe. Papa Joe done put some more money in your pocket. Hey, you heard Papa Joe about to pay us? Yeah, I heard. I still can't stand him though. That's the sentiments in the household right now. But the same households that voted him in. So look out for your $1,400, you anti-vaxxers. I mean, you got to think about it. Y'all are against them. A lot of people are against the mandate. Of course, we know why. There are reasons why. But those vocal people who will be getting this money, they're not going to send that money back. The same people that got you upset and got you thinking that they are all against Joe Biden, they're not sending their money back. They're not. That is not going to happen. They're going to keep that money. They're going to go cash it. They're going to go buy a flat screen TV and some Cheetos, because that's all that's going to be left after they get the biggest screen TV that they can. But now on the other side, there are people that need this money. There are people that are going to welcome this money. So this is a good look for the citizens of this country. I just didn't know it was in there. You didn't know it was in there. But I found out on my strolling and trolling. Like I said, this is a part of the COVID relief bill. So many Americans need it. And that's the end of the day. I mean, so if you're anti-whatever with the government, you're mad, however you want to be, you're not going to send your money back. So take it and enjoy it. You know, now that's easy money for you. Now I'm gonna go into my next segment, and I might run long. Who cares? It's my show. I do what I want to do on my show. It's my show. If you didn't see, you probably saw the group of teachers on television up in the Dakotas, scrounging for money, putting money in their mouth, which is nasty. We knew that as kids. Justin, get that money out your mouth. Mama, my mama gave me this money. She told me it was for my singing lesson. Justin, take that money out your mouth. Oh my God, baby, oh. I'm sorry, I had to throw that in there. But yeah, so the Twisted Teachers, they did a segment on this also, and they're teachers. I'm going to give you my point of view from a student, and then just give you my opinion with my opinionated ass. But they did a segment, and they talked about how it felt for teachers. So that's their first hand, and I'll put a link to that episode. You go check theirs out. Now for me, of course, I saw the I didn't want to comment on it, so I'm glad that the Twisted Teachers did from their point of view, because I didn't know how to even bring it when I saw it on Strolling and Trolling. It's like, because you could be disrespectful, because I didn't want to even touch the article, but I read into it. I read it, and here we go. I mean, regarding educators, I mean, let's just say this is a no-brainer. We know the education system, the school system around this country needs funding. We know that. That is not a secret. We know that the teachers, the molders of the great nation, the molders and the unappreciated for decades, are underpaid. I mean, yeah, you got to think. You got a 95% rate of teachers who care and love your children. Some better than you love your children. You send your child out to school. Go on to school, Christina Aguilera. I mean, go on to school, baby. Just go on to school. We're going to change your name when you get older. But that never happened. So anyway, so you send your child out to school, and you trust these educators with your child. Now, I mean, there has to be, if you've seen the picture, yeah, basically I'll describe it for you if you hadn't seen it. So basically this happened up in the Dakotas. There was a hockey game or something like that, and they had these 5 or 6 teachers come out. They put $5,000 on the ground in ones like they were strippers. I mean, yeah. So they put 5,000. That's actually part of the Twisted Teachers joke. They was like, they should have just put a stripper pole up there. But I think they were a little too thick to be strippers. Even the dude, he was on the chunky side. He had some thighs down there. I don't think twerking would have worked too good for that male teacher. But yeah, so these educators, they threw down these $5,000 worth of $100 bills, and they had to go down and scrounge or dash for cash. I think that's what they called it, dash for cash. They had to get down there and try to get as much money as they could in a time limit or whatever it was. It was just stupid. So of course they did it. But this one teacher had money in her mouth, and that was the joke at the beginning. Just to get that money out your mouth. Did you swallow that damn nickel? So that was the joke at the beginning, because we know that right there is the most demeaning thing. Because when you're doing something like that, of course, if you ever went to Vegas or go to Vegas, I think in Vegas they have this cash box. Yeah, they do, and all the cash blows up. And actually, it was on the TV show for a while. All the cash blows up, and you just tuck it inside your shirt. You try to catch as much money as you can. Now that right there, I'll try to cover the comparison if I remember, but I got so much on my page. So anyway, so these teachers are down on the floor. They're scrounging. They're trying to get as much money as they can, and they biting it and they putting it on their neck. I don't know what the rules were, but at the end of the day, the whole public consensus was it's demeaning. And I'll tell you why, as a student, why it's demeaning. Because one of those teachers is teaching somebody's child who is struggling. One of those teachers is telling these children, or all of them, respect yourself. Do not do anything for money. Do not put yourself out there for money. Have integrity, have self-respect, have some type of moral balance in your life. Teachers, that's what they teaching your children when you send them off to school just to walk around with their pants half off their ass, Justin Bieber. But anyway, so you got these teachers now. They're down there, $5,000. I ain't got to the good part of it. So $5,000 in ones down there, and they're scrounging trying to get it, and they're doing it to get school supplies. It's not even for them. Now that right there is why I have to go with the deep voice, because that is the dumbest thing that could have been done to any group of educators, any group of people who work in a job where they serve the public, where they take care of the public's children, or they take care of your child. Because it is very easy. You could have done the cash box. You could have put these teachers, these educators in a box and said, hey, whatever money comes up is yours. Now that right there is the difference. It is yours. It could have been a whole different contest where teachers could have entered a lottery, basically put their names in there and said it's like a Christmas thing, like, hey, whatever money you get, it is yours. You do not have these teachers on their hands and knees for money to teach our little bratty children, because that right there is where the disrespect went overboard. Because it is easy to say to each one of those teachers, here's the deal. We're going to donate $5,000 to your school, but we're going to also play this game where you get to keep money for your own self, for your family, before you, because you signed up for it. I mean, there should have been like an entry option. I mean the spectacle, it didn't have to be connected to education at all. It could have been one representative from 5 schools. You get what I'm saying? It could have been like, who wants to volunteer to get down and dirty for dollars, something like that. It could have been that. I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, the Twisted Teachers, they mentioned the Zen Den, where this teacher actually rewarded his school, or had the board, I guess, rewarded this school with the Zen Den, where they can go to sleep. It was a funny picture. But now that picture is like, I mean, it's opposite ends of the spectrum. This was a reward, the Zen Den was. And then I covered where a principal actually was doing janitorial duties and he was cleaning up. I covered that. So there are good education systems out there, but this whole spectacle with the whole $5,000, like I said, could have been done differently. Each school, because this was a hockey event, so money is there. They made money off the whole publicity of this thing, the show. So they could have given each school $5,000 and then let those schools, however that lottery or that contest would have ran, let a representative from that school, if it would have been a janitor or the strongest person, whatever, just let a representative who wanted to participate and get a portion of $5,000 for themselves in singles. Now that would have changed the outcome of everything. I wouldn't even be talking about it, because that is a reward. The school wins, and then the people, the best teacher, however they did it, they win. The individual that's on that ground scrounging, they're not scrounging for your kids. They're scrounging because their school is covered $5,000. And now they're getting a little bit for themselves, because they representing the school to get money for themselves. And of course, if you know anything about good teachers, they're gonna buy Justin. They're gonna give him a notebook, because he ain't gonna come to school with no pencils, so they're gonna have to give him pencils. That's what that stuff is for. So these teachers probably ended up with $200 a piece. Well, it's kind of hard. It's $5,000 in one. So let's just say nobody walked away with more than $150. So whoever the promoter was of that venue, see, they didn't show the end. I guarantee he ended up with more of that $5,000 back in his pocket. And it should be going somewhere else. So that's a spectacle. But the spectacle also shows and revives the fact that there is a need for the federal government to step in and support these teachers. And of course, if you listen to the Twisted Teachers episode, I'll let them fill in the blanks. But they actually discussed how much teachers in the area get paid. So please, that money could have been very well placed and done another way, because it would have covered. You got to check out Twisted Teachers. So you got to listen to their episode and then listen to mine, or listen to mine and go back and listen to theirs and come back and listen to mine and do it back and forth. But this just shows that someone, the school board, needs to step up and say, you know, that's it. That's it. All these lobbyists that go to the federal government for your stimulus check, that goes to the government for stupid things, need to go to the government and say, we need a Zen Den in every school system around the globe. Of course, you're gonna walk in there, and then there go little Taylor Swift in there trying to sing her country song. You know, what you doing in here, Taylor? Mr. Johnson let me in. He said the acoustics was good in here, so I came to practice my guitar. And get your ass out of here, Taylor. So I mean, of course, but what I'm saying is, there needs to be some type of real consensus that says we value educators, and making them do this for cash is stupid. I mean, that's just my opinion. I mean, it's stupid. It couldn't have benefited no one, because I know they couldn't have gotten enough money. They're not strippers. They don't get to put it all in plastic bags like strippers do. At least strippers get to walk away with every dollar. Now, if they had gave them plastic bags, say you got 25 seconds to put all the money you can in a plastic bag. You see the integrity in that? You making these grown people who scrounge and struggle for every dollar that they take home to their household, and with everything that's going on in the school system, with school shootings and trying to be blamed, and just trying to keep your kid protected from COVID. And Justin won't keep his mask on because he want to sing his favorite song. I got peaches out in Georgia. Oh, you put your mask on. So, I mean, you got that. Oh, yes, I love telling jokes, and yes, I love doing that. But at the same time, something needs to change. I mean, if you're a lobbyist, and for my strolling and trolling mainstream media, take this story to a whole nother level, because it needs to be said. This is the example. And look at the Zen Den and say, that's the example. Rewarding teachers, there are so many ways to reward them. But that was not a reward. That was a contest that was exploited in that education system that once you listen to the Twisted Teachers episode, you'll find out why that money could have been used a whole different way. I mean, eating cash to basically teach your children, to teach the children of that area, to teach children of any area. I mean, this just I mean, do you remember, like, you bring a teacher an apple. Here go your apple. My mama shined it up. That was like the most impressive thing you could do in a time period. And the worst thing you could do is call a teacher by her first name or his first name, their first name. And I mean, that's just disrespectful. I mean, now educators hold your kids' lives in their hand. And this lady is actually on a picture with money in her mouth. Now, if that teacher is your child's teacher and you up in the Dakotas, you're like, oh, that's Mrs. Blunk, Blunk, Blunk. You need to be making sure she gets something for Christmas. That's just my opinion. I mean, like I said, I think each of those teachers or those schools deserve $5,000 off the rip. And they need to go ahead and split that money, whatever was left, and give those teachers the rest of that money, put in their pocket for their families, because there's no way this can be accepted or become some type of dumb trend. But hey, you can go check that article out, and I will put the Twisted Teachers link in for their episode. You check them out, because they're teachers. They're going to give you a whole nother view. I just gave you my opinion. What my opinionated ass. Hey, that's just what I do on the Grill the Podcast show, baby. But yeah, so now I'm going to go ahead and get into some more, because you probably like, I can't stand him. He always doing on Justin Bieber's and teachers. He love talking about the teachers, because I'll say again, the only reason I can read the words that are on my paid program program, all the music that I do, play the music that I do, is because of a teacher. Now, I know you think that, oh, you could just be gifted. Nah, you could be gifted and you could be stupid. Because at the end of the day, someone has to mold. And of course, I got stories of teachers all through my previous episodes. Just go through them. You'll see it. Honoring teachers, honoring frontline workers, but teachers are it. So, okay, I know you're tired of hearing about teachers, but thank you to the Twisted Teachers, and I'll put that link to that episode in here, and you can check them out. Now, let's get to. I think I'm gonna cover Mama Pelosi. I got some Mama Pelosi. Y'all love Mama Pelosi, but you might not like what I'm about to say. But yeah, so I got to do my COVID because I had a request for that. Now, there's a doctor that said something stupid on TV, talking about this new variant. Let's just let it take its course. We need to just let this new variant just infect us all, and then we'll be fine. Are you stupid? I mean, what if you're one of those people who agree with this fool? What if it's not the Omicron Omegatron variant that you got? Yeah, I'm the only one saying Omicron Omegatron. If you ain't got the Omicron Omegatron variant, why are you assuming that you do? You could actually have the real COVID-19, and you could be sick and end up in the hospital and on your last leg and about to die because you listened to something stupid that said, let's just let it take its course. Is that his sentiment on COVID and coronavirus? You have to ask yourself that. Because this doctor was, he's a Fox News doctor. Yeah, I'm a blast that, because y'all know I do COVID every week, and I try to tell you, if you have any underlying health issues, please get one of the shots, but always wear your mask. This clown is basically saying, do not wear your mask. Do you see how it is destroying the whole structure of battling this virus when a doctor says, let it take its course? That means he wants it to come into your house, get into your children, get into your body, get into your family, and possibly kill every one of you because you thought it was the Omicron or Megatron. And it wasn't. It was COVID-19. It was the Delta variant. It was a Beta, a Alpha. It was one of those. And those are more dangerous. Of course, I told you this is, and I read the report. The gene breakdown of this Omicron is just like the common cold. That is why it's traveling faster. Do not be confused. It is connected with the common cold, and it damn sure could be the common cold. They just named it something else because it got a little hairline on the virus or whatever. If you ever watched the movie Contagion, you'll know why I said the little hair on it, the protein breakdown of it. So I mean, yeah, don't listen to this stupid stuff. protect yourself. Wear your mask. If you're afraid of this stuff and you love walking around talking in people's face, stop now. The only people face you need to be talking in is people you can go back and track and get in their damn face and say, I got COVID from you. You last person I saw. I mean, because the doctors need to trace that so they can get back and make sure there's not a cluster outbreak. So that's my COVID thing. Now I got to get to Mama Pelosi. I think it's Mama Pelosi time. Yep. So Mama Pelosi, sorry about the smack, but yeah, Mama Pelosi, she actually was on. I saw the video, but I read the article, and basically, with the violence and all these smash and grabs out west, she says she don't know where that came from. Mama Pelosi, you know where that came from. It began when all of y'all made a fool of yourselves at the state capitol when you kneeled for George Floyd. It's not the kneeling that's the problem. The problem is you did not use your governmental powers to go into these neighborhoods, outreach with these neighborhoods, and find these bad cops, these horrible police officers, because I'm going to do the percentage again. 95% of the police officers that don that blue are good damn officers. I don't care. And I mentioned again about the guy on Twitter. It was, and I'm sorry, got to go racial. It was a white guy. He saw I was black. You can see my picture telling me how I need to feel about the police. Are you serious? You're talking to the one that they're supposed to be targeting. You're also talking about the one that grew up in the projects that they were protecting. Of course, it was some bad ones, whooping ass. I didn't say that. That goes without saying. But every cop who has had to respond to domestic violence calls, a call where a child was missing, a child was killed, you see what they got to deal with. Now, if you want to tell me that cop who has to respond to a child that just lost their life, or a mother who has just been abused or murdered by her husband, that's a bad officer and he's destroyed because of it. I saw the supposed accidental shooting when the lady grabbed her taser and she actually shot the guy. In her response, she knew she was going to jail. But see, of course, there's some conflicting things. I'm watching her video and the guy reached and she shot. So it's that adrenaline. Of course, there's a psychological edge. That lady actually, she must have had some psychological issues. She shouldn't have been on the force because she didn't know not to pull the trigger. All she knew was thinking she was about to die. She went panic. I forget what the medical term is. Fight or flight. She went fight or flight too fast because she had backup and she had the taser. She went fight or flight in the wrong and that guy lost his life. But Miss Pelosi, you know how it started, because after that it was defund the police this, defund the police that, and across America that was allowed to spread like the plague. That idea to defund the police was allowed to spread like the plague. Mama Pelosi, that's what's happening. That's what happened. That's what's going on. That's why you see this violence, because the cops they're not trying to get involved with criminals who are walking down the street with a gun, because you know what's on them other than a gun? The most violent, the most effective tool or weapon right now is a cell phone video. And we all will fall victim to it. The cell phone video is what is being used to shoot these good officers down, and it's not bringing any light to the bad officers, because the bad officers is just hide now. They're just waiting till everything calms down, and they're gonna go back to whooping ass as usual. And I saw one video. It sounded like a young white kid. He's out there agitating cops. Get out of my face, sir. Get away from me. Go do your fucking job. Get away from me. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're going around watching cops do their job, recording them do their job, and telling them to leave you alone. And I said to the white guy who was pushing me to dislike policemen because I'm black, to make me understand that what's going on in the neighborhood, I said, listen, you don't even get it. For the black neighborhoods like Chicago and all these neighborhoods like Atlanta, Zone 3, SWATs, where crime and violence and death is just a part of it, those areas, we welcome the cops, especially when our homeboy gets shot healed. We like, where the police at? See, they coming. Oh, let me go my ass in the house. So basically, Mama Pelosi, what has happened? There's been no outreach. The mainstream media has used everything that y'all did against good officers. So these officers are trying to make it home. I told you that before. That's what has happened. That defund the police process has resulted in officers trying to make it home. So hey, if this never gets out, but I understand the whole concept, because we are all trying to just make it home. No one wants to be a victim of crime. No one wants to lose anybody to COVID. We all are just trying to make it home. And hey, that's all I found on my episode of Strolling and Trolling. I hope you enjoyed it. Hey, shout out to the Twisted Teachers. Thank you for that photo. And I'm going to put that link in there. Go check them out. And welcome to the Grill Dub.